What's going on, everybody? This is Warren Dews, the Vice President of Capital Region Independent Media and NYVT Media. I'm also the publisher of a few of our newspapers. As you know, we do this thing called Community Conversations, where we get to know an advertiser or a person or someone in our communities. We do another thing called Ask the Expert, and then we do another thing called Meet Your Neighbor. I believe this is once again one of those things that's going to check a lot of boxes. So I'm here with a new friend. Friend, who are you? Tell us who you are.
How you doing? My name is Kyle Owens. I'm a certified life coach, minister, and business owner. I recently relocated to the Capital District of New York. I'm originally from here, from Albany, New York, and I had relocated down to the Dallas-Fort Worth area of Texas back in 2019. And through a series of events and obeying what I believe God told me to do, I find myself back in the area, but with a mission and with a purpose. And I'm sure we'll dive into those things in our conversation today. Thank you for having me. So glad to be here.
No problem, man. So I read, Marlene McTeague, who does a lot for our company. She interviewed you, and I got to read the story that's going to be coming out soon. So people are hopefully you'll check the story out. But before we start, you said something. You said you're from this area originally, right? But
Correct.
you lived in Dallas before.
Correct.
Yes. So I need to because this might end the conversation right now. Are you a Dallas fan?
I am.
Okay, so nice to talk to you. Time for us to go, everybody. It's over. We're done. See you later.
Yeah,
the article is not coming out now. It's going to be retracted.
The funny thing is I had on a Dallas hoodie earlier, and I was like, you know what? Just in case it comes up, I'm just gonna let it come out just in case he asks. Yes, I am. But in all fairness, I've been a Dallas Cowboys fan since I was in high school. It's nothing new. My house was a divisional house. My father was a Giants fan. My brother was a Redskins fan when they were the Redskins. My fiance is a Giants fan, so I tend to
So,
find
so
myself.
you just saved it. You saved it because I'm a Giants fan, and let your fiance know the only
Okay.
reason this is going on is because she's a Giants fan. Because this
Okay.
was about to end
I'm
abruptly.
gonna text her and say thank you, dear, for being a Giants fan. And it's gonna be a contentious house come Sunday because
Yeah.
yeah, we going at it.
So Mark Vinciguerra, my business partner, CEO of the company, he's a Jets fan. So both of us, I think, together won 6 games
Wow.
last year. Probably,
Hey,
probably not even that much.
I don't even. I'm a Cowboys fan, but I'm one of those very realistic fans. Like
Yeah.
I'm not screaming Super Bowl already. Can we just get a couple of wins through the season and stop
Exactly.
making dumb trades? I'll be happy.
Exactly. Well, listen, man, it's nice to meet you, man. And like I said, I want to get to know you more. That's what this is all about. So tell me about the rebrand the man is something that you do. Tell me about that real quick.
Yeah, so BrandTheMan is a nonprofit organization I founded a year and a half ago, and it is an outward expression of the internal journey I had for these past few years. Moving down to Texas in 2019 was a part of me getting away and trying to get myself clear. In all reality, I didn't know why I was moving to Texas. God told me to move. I didn't want to move. I did the hey, if this is you, if this is really you, God, then do A, B, C, and D. He did A through Z, so I could not question it. I
Mhm.
got up and I packed and I went. I was going through a lot of things mentally, emotionally. I did not have community, but the biggest thing I did not have was identity. I had been
Mhm.
involved in ministry, I had been involved in community works and things of that nature, but I put a lot of my identity on my accomplishments or the lack thereof. And when all of that fell apart and none of that could sustain me, and I still found myself empty, I was looking for something. I couldn't find it here. I get down to Texas. I end up getting the Lord led me to 3 people: a life coach, which I'd never heard of life coaching at all at that point, a therapist. It was the first time I ever had a therapist, and a friend. And I met this guy at a random men's Bible study at a church. Didn't know him. I moved to Texas not knowing anyone. He was the first person to really talk to me about identity and what that
Mhm.
meant. And from 2019 to 2023, I was on a journey really of unlearning, detoxing, um, the battle of discovering things about yourself, but then trying not to hate yourself and all those type of things. By that point, I had tried to take my own life twice. At that point, once before I left New York, and then when I was down there. Through all of those things, between the friend, the life coach, and the therapist, I was able to detox, I was able to heal, and I was able to grow. After that came about, I was really strong, started to move forward. I was starting to lead small groups and Bible studies. And I heard God say to me one day, hey, you need to now turn around and create what you couldn't find. And what I couldn't find at the time was community,
Okay.
especially to speak about that. So Rebrand the Man is a nonprofit that focuses on helping men to take the mask off, helping men to stop pretending that they're okay and to actually help them be okay. And so we do that through small groups right now, small groups, focus groups that are just for men. I was running one down in Fort Worth. We're taking that one and making it global online, and I'm doing one in person here in Albany. We have one next Thursday. We can talk about that later. But we do in-person groups where we talk about all things. All things are on the table. There's absolutely nothing you can talk about. We do it in a way where it is anonymous. So you could be a man who's struggling with infidelity. You could be struggling with business. You don't love yourself. You hate your kids, or you're trying to figure out more things, but you don't want to say that out publicly and open.
Hmm.
And so they could talk about anything. And because I went and got certified as a life coach because of how impactful it was to me. So I approached the conversation from a clinical standpoint through life coaching. I talk about it through a spiritual aspect because I am a minister, and I cannot even, let me say this quickly, I did not get here without the Lord helping me to get here. So I can't even tell you how I went from wanting to take my own life to helping to save others' life if I don't tell you that it was a part of God's work in my life. So I have to present that. And then we just talk about it from a practical standpoint. And so that's what we do. And then we'll be building more in 2026. I can tell you what we focus on:
Okay.
identity. I firmly believe that it doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't matter how many successes you have. If your identity is not in the right place, it's like building a beautiful, beautiful building, but your foundation is cracked. And so, what I find in my walk and in my life and those who I help is that whether you are in the corner office or you're on the corner of the street, both men can have a challenge in their identity. And so,
Hmm.
what we deal with is what I like to call root work. Wherever you are in life, success or failure, if you are not solid in who you are, where you are, and why you exist, if you can't answer those three questions, then you are definitely going to find yourself in a place where at some point you're going to be unfulfilled. At some point you might find some fulfillment, but you're going to run the rat race and you're going to find yourself in this cycle of healing, which
Hmm.
sounds good, but I don't believe that we were created to be in a process of healing. I believe we were created to be healed. And so the goal is to fix the root so that
Hmm.
we can have better fruit. And so that's our focus.
So another thing that I read in the story that's coming out from Marlene is, we've talked. You're a minister, and as I'm also a minister, I'm a reverend, and we're both Christian men. But you specify, or Marlene came out and said, you're not out there trying to force people to be Christians. You're just
Correct.
telling people that that's what worked for you. So
Mhm.
talk about that, because as two men that I'm proud and bang on my chest that I'm a Christian, and we're supposed to be disciples of bringing more people in.
Mhm.
What about that person that's not a Christian, that's in another religion or something else, but this still can help them? Talk to that person.
Good questions. I mean, good point. So the thing is that I believe when I deal with and I follow how Jesus dealt with people, right? Jesus dealt with people where they were. And I believe that regardless of your religious belief, when I talk to you about who you are and I deal with the heart of the matter, I might not say to you in that moment, Jesus said A, B, C, or D. But when
Mhm.
I talk to you about A, B, C, and D, and you notice the change, you're going to have to come to a moment where you yourself say, this is different than what I've experienced. And what is going to cause that person to inquire about or ask is why or how is this different? It is my job as a Christian at that point to tell you where the difference is. I didn't come up with this on my own. I am not here minus the blood of Jesus Christ. Now, you don't have to believe that. My job is to not force this on you, but I have to tell you what it is. And I believe, like anything that is good, anything that's solid, anything that is true, it will defend itself. My job as a Christian is to raise up Christ, to lift him up. He'll do the drawing. That's what the Bible says. If I be lifted up, I'll draw all men unto me. So it's not my job to convince you, but what we have been called to do as Christians is to make disciples. Well, the only way I can make a disciple is if that person is willing to sit down and be discipled. And
Mm.
so what I come from the approach of, let me tell you what's happening with you as a human, because all of the good stuff, all of the love people and all those type of things, even if people don't give it its proper credit, it's all biblical. And it is, Jesus is love. And the Bible tells us that. So, and even the Bible, it's funny, there are scriptures and whole books in the Bible that never mention God's name, but you see his
Mm.
characteristic. And I believe
Mm.
that it is my job to just deal with the people where they are. And if they ask me, so how is it that this is working? Let me tell you about this guy called Jesus.
So one of the things that you mentioned, you try to kill yourself twice. Talk about your struggle and why did you continue to fall back and come back and fall back and come back? Talk about that. What made you fall and get back up and get to this place where you are now?
I was addicted to affirmations.
Okay.
I was codependent. I put my identity in pleasing other people. And I found myself in relationships where it was the superhero. I wanted to save the day. But when life started to show me that I couldn't save the day and all the things that I knew to do wasn't working, and I began to be worried about how people were going to look at me. I was concerned about who I was in a relationship with, that they were no longer going to want me because it was rooted in abandonment. So I didn't want to be abandoned. So I wanted to do everything I could. So after trying so many things to either make this person happy or make sure this situation turned around so that people would always depend on me, I was addicted to the need of being needed. I wanted to be wanted. And when that fell apart, I lost hope. And because I couldn't make it happen, because I couldn't be reliable, and pair that with other things that come from the relationship was absolutely toxic. So we're talking about verbal abuse, we're talking about physical abuse. I carry the rare spoken about story of where the man is the one who is physically abused in the relationship. And as a man, you don't feel like you can go around and talk about, yo, my girl is beating on me, because men hear that and like, how weak are you? So that's something else that was on my shoulders. I can't talk about it. I'm being verbally abused. And so you have all of these things. It played the perfect and built the perfect storm for me to live in this city of hopelessness. And when hopelessness becomes your epicenter, you
Mm-hmm.
find yourself in a place where you don't want to do anything. So that's what happened. Now, that was the first time. The second time was I was coming out of the relationship and trying to grow and move on, but it was that tear, and I felt like I am again, failing again. I remember the morning I woke up after the first attempt, and I mean, I wasn't reading books on how to do it. I was like, all right, I'm going to drink everything I can, and hopefully I don't wake up. Right, like this is just my thought, because there was a kid who lived in the house, so I'm like, well, I don't want them to waking up to some gore and some blood all over the place. So what can I do it and just not wake up? When I woke up the next morning, the first thing I said to myself is, bro, you're so much of a loser, you can't even kill yourself right. Like that's the mindset that I had. And so I fell back into that because I found myself in a place of still trying to look and feel and be better for someone else. I had no
Mm-hmm.
identity in myself. I didn't take value in me. And so, because my value was predicated on someone else's approval, someone else saying, yes, Justin, you did a good job. Yes, man, you're wonderful. Yes, I need you. Yes, I want you. Because I didn't have that, I felt like there was no need. What's the point?
You have a thing called the brotherhood model. Explain that.
Yeah, so the brotherhood is the name of the support group that we do with Rebrand the Man.
Okay.
And so the model of that is it came from the idea of a black box. So years ago, when I was active in youth and young adult ministry, this was back when like the term millennial was a thing, right? We were talking like early 2010, 8, 9-ish, somewhere around there. And so God gave me this idea of the black box, which is a flight data recorder. And if for people who might not know about this, if a plane were to crash, even if it was to crash in the ocean, if you can get to the flight data recorder before the battery dies, you'll know systematically what happened that caused the plane to crash. It's the safest place of information. So what we created then was a system for people to express themselves and communicate without people knowing what they've done. So the Lord just brought that back around to me, and I do it with men. And inside the brotherhood, what we do is we talk about literally every single challenge you can have. And there's no judgment to it. You don't know about it. And then it also creates space and opportunity for those who have gone through, guys who are healed, guys who are strong. So it gives them a space to pour in to other men. And so we were doing this out of a barbershop down in Fort Worth for a while because I mean, hey, it's one of the places we men go to all the time, right? So we were meeting there, and it was again just guys coming together to talk. It's themed, so we have nights where it's themed, and then we have nights where we just go into the black box again, which is our center for anonymous conversations. And so we're taking that same model. I've relocated, like I said, up to the capital region. So we are working on building a chapter, an official chapter of Rebrand the Man in New York. We have started a support group called the Brotherhood, and we are building that so that men can come to a place where they can be free to just be them. Take the mask off. You don't have to be any of those things because we as men, we carry our identity a lot of times in what we do. Take you for yourself. You are a business owner, you are a boss, you are, all these things, right? But if you strip away your titles, if you strip away your responsibilities, and it's just you, figuratively speaking, just you there naked, just you are still a man full of an identity that exists beyond your responsibilities, beyond your achievements or lack thereof. And that's the man that we have to make sure we rebrand in order for us to be successful so that we build on a sure foundation. So no matter what you're doing, no matter what your job is, no matter what you've accomplished or not, if the core of you, the created being in you is solid, then everything you do will be right. It's good root, good fruit. That's the most simplest way I can say it. Good root, good fruit.
So what made you come back to the 518? You were born here, raised here, I guess, and then you made the mistake to go to Dallas. I'm just that was that Dallas Cowboy thing again. I'm sorry. Forgive me.
I see you.
Forgive me. But I'm sorry. You went to Dallas and you came back. What made you come back?
Honestly, but bro, uh, just submitting. I not to sound, churchy or over religious. I'll be honest with you. I never wanted to come back. I used to. I promise you. I used to say, God, don't ever bring me back to New York. I left New York. I never wanted to see this place. When I would visit in between my time while I was down there, I had a 4-day max. After 4 days, I'm like, I got to get out of here. I don't like this place. I don't like how it feels. There's a dark cloud over this area. It's the same stuff. We done built new buildings and homeless people still next to it. Albany looks crazy. I never wanted to come back. And as I was down in Texas and doing this work, what I started to realize and feel as I was really dedicating my time with the Lord was I have to be willing to do whatever he tells me, however, whenever. And I was, except I would always say, "Is God, I'll do anything, but don't call me back to New York. I do not want to go back." And I started to see that doors were closing, not because, and I mean things beyond my control. I hadn't done anything wrong. It was just, and my prayer, I pray this prayer all the time, and sometimes it's a dangerous prayer, but I pray, Lord, open the doors that are meant to be open and don't ever let them shut. Close the doors that should not be open and don't let them ever be open. Doors of distraction and destruction, close them, because sometimes they look great, but if they're not a part of what you're supposed to be doing, it's a distraction and ultimately it's destructive because it's not according to your purpose. Well, those doors were closing. And I said, God, what's going on? And so in my prayer, the Lord was like, it's time for you to go back. And I said, oh, and so I fought it longer, but eventually I was like, you know what, God, all right, if this is where you're calling me to, I'll go. And when I did that, I had a peace that I've never had about this place. I drove back from Dallas, and I remember driving in. I was coming in from the Buffalo area, and as I got to exit 25A on the thruway, and I saw the first sign of Schenectady, where I spent a lot of my years, um, I said, "Man, I'm actually back here." And I'm ready. Like I knew what I was here for. I knew that I was coming back to battle against the mindset that I myself I had. I had to come away from this place to be able to be detoxed, to be healed, to be strengthened, to know the monster that we as men face, to come back and battle it. And so I'm here on a mission. I'm here with purpose, for purpose.
Listen, your story is amazing. What you're trying to do is amazing. How can people get in tune and contact with you to help change their lives? Now you're back
Awesome.
at the 518, you know, and we'll have all the links and stuff for people to, but talk about that. What's the next steps?
Yes. So the next steps is continuing to build the chapter here, to build that up. I'm looking to gain support from three ways. Local organizations that deal with mental health, organizations that deal with public works. I want to connect with them. I'm looking to connect with churches. I come from that world, and I believe that churches have a responsibility to minister to the needs of the people in their community. So I'm looking for partnerships there. People can reach me directly through my website, mylifegrooming.com. That's my coaching and speaking website. It's jkyle, JKYLE at mylifegrooming.com. If they want to know more about Rebrand the Man and what we do in the nonprofit space, the website is rebrandtheman.org. So there's a contact there. They can reach out. The other side of what I do, we don't speak a lot of it, but the other side of what I do on the speaking and coaching side is I also help ministries and organizations with creating structured frameworks and curriculums. Because a lot of times we have a message, there's things we want to carry, things we want to do, but we don't know how to scale it. And I did that for a lot of organizations and for schools. Teaching is my other background. So I've done like actual matriculated curriculum development. So I do that for organizations. My aim is to build that more here. I did it for my own company, built an identity curriculum workshop. And then I'm almost done with my third book. I'll be finishing that this week. That speaks to rebranding yourself and all of that. So I provide that service as well. And so my goal is to be able to get organizations and help them to build this up. And I, in turn, also help the organizations with their frameworks and with their curriculums and things of that nature. So if you are a speaker, if you are a pastor, if you are a coach, you have a message that you want it to be a movement. You want to be able to take a main thought and turn it into a full curriculum. You can also contact me towards that as well, because it all cycles itself. It all pours back into helping men take the mask off and be exactly who they were created to be.
Well, listen, I appreciate you taking your time. Like I told everyone, this is community conversations. This is a get to know, and we appreciate you taking the time. And we want to make sure our goal as a media company is not only to try to have advertisers advertise with us and make revenue, but it's connect the community. And I think we're doing that with this. So I appreciate everything that you're doing. And as a media company, we're here to help and push your message out. If you had one phrase, and I'm stealing this from two people, from my wife also does podcasts, and she asked this question.
Okay.
And it's a show called The Pivot that I like to watch.
Okay.
And so my question to you is, if there's one phrase or word that represents you, what would that be?
Oh, that's a good question. Rebrand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Rebrand is it. It is it. That's where I because people in this area, there are a lot of people who know me. My name is familiar, but who I am now and who they knew then is not the same. I've been completely rebranded. So rebrand is my name. It is my tag.
Awesome. We'll leave with that. Thank you so much. Once again, everyone, my name is Warren Dews, Vice President of Capital Region Independent Media, NYVT Media, and a local paper media company near you. Our job is to do what we do. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon. Peace.
Peace.